Hi everyone, my name is Hannah Barker, and throughout this semester and from taking cyberfeminism, I've gained an even bigger passion for change when it involves the gender pay gap and resisting inequalities in the workplace. I personally have been a victim of both and also have been a witness to it as well. It is something that truly needs to change, it's just a matter of when. Everyone is aware of it and knows it to be true, but it just doesn't seem to change. I mean, come on, it's 2017 and women are still making less than men when it comes to money in the workforce, and women are still victims of workplace inequalities. I thought we would start with gender pay gap first. According to CNN Money, women earned 82 cents for every dollar a man made in 2016. Well, first of all, what many individuals don't understand is that when us women make less, it affects our whole lives, such as retirement, 401k, and many other things. Yes, I know, some may look at it as a little under 20 cents an hour as not that much, but it is something big because over time that 20 cents adds up. According to CNN Money, the pay gap means women lose around $10,470 in median earnings a year. Do you know what we could do with over $10,000? A lot of different things. Not to mention, race and ethnicity widen the gap even more. According to CNN Money, Hispanic women made 54 cents for every dollar a white non-Hispanic man earned, which means they will lose more than $1 million over a 40-year career based on today's wage gap. Also, black women earn 63 cents for every dollar a white non-Hispanic man earns, meaning they will typically lose more than $840,000 over a 40-year career. Crazy statistics like this prove that the gender pay gap truly needs to change because it affects women's lives.
Now we have about half of the households in America are headed by female breadwinners. We have 1 in 5 hungry kids in America. And when we look at equal pay, we see the highest educated women have the biggest pay gap with men, and also the lowest paid workers, which are women. So it's the glass ceiling, sticky floor analogy that they use. One of the things that we could really do to make a difference in women's lives for the lowest earning women is to make sure that there's really a solid, real living wage.
At the Oscars in 2015, you won for Boyhood. Congratulations. You took that moment when the eyes of the world were on you to say this: it's our time to have wage equality once and for all and equal rights for women in the United States of America. You could have said anything in that moment.
So now I would like to talk about workplace inequalities, focusing on gender. I really wanted to talk about an experience that I personally went through that just wasn't fun, and it kind of makes me upset to think about because was, I was discriminated because I was a woman, and so I initially got hired at a company, and it was just like in just a regular office type setting. Um, I was hired along with two other male coworkers, and we all had the same qualifications. If not, I had more than them. So that alone should have placed me a little bit higher than them. And it was a male-dominated occupation. It was engineering type stuff, oil and gas. So I knew that going into that be, I would be probably one of the only females working there. And when I went in, there was two female receptionists, and that was it. And then there was me. And I think the only reason I actually got hired was because a family friend vouched for me and kind of was like, hey, like, she's really good, like, what she does, she's really interested, she can do whatever. So I think that's partly why I got the job. It was kind of like my boss did my family friend a favor for him. But, so when I went to the interview, like I said, I was hired on the spot with two other male coworkers, and we just started, all, it was kind of like a group interview, and we all just kind of, after we each talked and stuff, they said we were hired, and then we discussed like what we would all be doing with our boss, who was also, a male. And as the conversation progressed, I could tell that the conversation was not geared towards me. He was never making eye contact with me, only with the other two males who were in the interview. And I just kind of like, I didn't think much about it because I was just like, okay, maybe, they're connecting on a different level because they are both. They're all guys. And I was just like, okay, I'm not going to think too much about it. I'm just going to, keep trying to like kill the interview and just stand out among the two other people who were interviewing. So when I finally got around to me talking about my qualifications, I wasn't really listened to. I was kind of just like, okay, you're done, cool. So I did get hired, and along with the two other males who were in my interview with me, we were all hired at the same position. It was just a temporary summer position. And when that day we signed our pay rate sheet, and we all walked out together, and they were talking about how much they were going to make, and it was a lot more than me. And I was just like, what? Like, I don't understand. Like, I thought, if we were all hired at the same job, for the same job, that we would all probably make the same amount of money, and that wasn't the case. They were making more than me. So I let that slide. So about a week later, I started, and I was working on a project for my boss, and I am the type of person who I like to make sure I'm doing something right. So I asked him a question just about the project, and this project was a big project. I didn't want to mess up and have to redo it or cause the company any problems or anything like that. So I asked him the question, and he proceeded to call me stupid, say that I should know what I'm doing, like, why am I working here if I can't figure out this small little thing? And I literally had to run out of the room because I was crying. And then, so I came back, composed myself, was able to start working again. And as I was finishing the project without my boss's help, he didn't want to help me. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to do what I think is right. If it's wrong, I tried asking him. So I turned it in and let him review it, and he proceeds to then start yelling at me again because what I did was wrong, which is what I asked him for help on. And I just looked at him and I was like, like, I tried to ask you for help, but you weren't willing to give me the help I needed. I feel like if I would have got the correction right away, it would have been fixed, and that would have been that, and we would have saved a lot of trouble of me having to redo it. So after that whole fiasco, later on in the day, my two other coworkers they were both working on the project, and let me tell you that they were, throughout the whole day, every day, we were all in an office, like a small office together, so I could like hear their conversations. They would talk about sports, like random things, like good guy stuff that I guess I couldn't be involved in. So I felt really left out throughout the whole time working there. And they asked the same question that I had asked previously, and my boss proceeded to, oh, here, let me show you, it's so easy, and all this stuff. And as the job kind of went on and the weeks went on, I slowly realized that I wasn't, I was getting thrown to the side of, oh, go file these papers or go answer the phone and things like that. Not what I was hired for. I was hired for a data entry type job that I had all the qualifications for, and I, at the end of the day, I looked back and I was like, I was discriminated because I was a female, and I was treated so poorly, and it really, looking back, I don't know, it's one of those things like you look back, you're like, dang, I wish I would have said something, but I was only 20 at the time, and I really just felt like belittled, and I now looking back, I completely understand it was because I was a female and my other two co-workers were males, and they just guessed because they were males, they were better than me. And at the end of the day, it's just that's how it is. I'm not the only person that's happened to. It's really sad. It shouldn't be that way because at the end of the day, I had more qualifications than them, and so do a lot of other women. A lot of other women have college degrees and over men, but they are still making less money, or they are not picked because they are female, and it's terrible, and it really does need to change. And I hope as the years go on, the gender pay gap does continue to decrease. But that could take over 40 years before it's completely decreased, and by that time I'm going to be done working, and same with a lot of other people, they're no longer going to be working. So it's just one of those things like we all need to bring um, awareness to it and just figure out a plan, because it isn't right. It's not fair that, especially, people of different races, and, I'm white, female, like, I can't imagine being, a different race, and they're even discriminated more because of the color of their skin or their ethnicity, and because they're female and they make less, or they're not picked because of that for a job. It's terrible, and I really would love to see it change. And I hope that this video kind of just gives you a backstory on a personal experience for me, that it isn't, you know, something that doesn't happen, because it is. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I've looked, I've enjoyed reading all of your guys' Tumblr posts throughout this semester. I really have learned a lot, and I've always been a feminist, and cause, I'm a woman and I want equal rights and equal everything. But after this class, I really gained a different perspective on it, and from you guys have all taught me a lot. So thank you so much.